March 14th lunar eclipse on the South Node in Virgo is a profound karmic release, marking a moment of closure, transformation, and deep self-reflection. Lunar eclipses signify culminations, emotional revelations, and endings, bringing hidden truths to the surface and urging us to break free from limiting patterns. And with this eclipse falling on the South Node in Virgo, we're being called to let go of outdated habits, perfectionism, and the need for absolute control. Virgo seeks order, logic, and structure, but this eclipse pushes us to release the constant over-analyzing of ourselves and self-criticism, and of course attachment to rigid routines that have perhaps held us back in the past. And what makes this eclipse even more potent is its ruler, which is Mercury, in Aries, and it's in a tight conjunction with Venus retrograde. Mercury is the planet of communication and thought, and in Aries, it becomes bold and fast and even direct. While its conjunction with Venus in retrograde intensifies review of our values and relationships and, of course, self-worth. This alignment asks us, are we holding on to outdated beliefs about love, success, and even self-worth? Or are personal or financial relationship patterns resurfacing for resolution? The eclipse acts as a mirror, showing us where we've been overly analytical and controlling in our approach to life, while Mercury and Venus in Aries pushes us towards honest and even sometimes uncomfortable realizations about what truly matters. So conversations may be passionate, direct, and even a little bit confrontational. And it forces us to reassess the balance between logic, desire, structure, and spontaneity, control, and even surrender. And this eclipse is a major karmic reset. It highlights the need to release what no longer serves us, embrace the necessary endings, and step into a new phase of clarity and alignment. So with Mercury and Venus playing such a pivotal role in this eclipse, this lunation invites deep reflection of our relationships, self-worth, and the mental patterns that shape our reality. So now is the time to let go, realign, and trust the transformation, and that it is guiding us towards a more authentic path forward. All right, so now for the best part, and we're going to be discussing your sun, your moon, and your rising sign. So your sun is your ultimate expression in life and where you're meant to be called to, where your moon is obviously a little bit more subjective and maybe part of yourself that no one even knows. And of course, your rising sign will always be the most relevant, as it's how your whole zodiac chart is aligned and where these energies will be manifested and taking place. So if you do know your rising sign, listen for that. Otherwise, listen to the rest. Hi, I am Lisa Schneider, and I am a tropical Western astrologer, and I would love to see you here again. So if you like that type of content, please feel free to like, share, and even subscribe below to see more of these videos in your feed going forward. Let's begin. So for Aries, the lunar eclipse in Virgo on March the 14th brings a significant shift to your 6th house, which governs work, health, and daily routines, and of course responsibilities. Eclipses signal endings, revelations, and necessary adjustments. And in Virgo, this one is forcing you to reassess your work-life balance, personal well-being, and the way that you manage your daily obligations. So if you've been feeling stuck, overworked, or in an unhealthy routine, or even struggling to maintain balance, this specific eclipse acts as a wake call. And you may be finding yourself leaving a draining job, restructuring a schedule, or adopting a better and even healthier habit. The need for perfectionism, often a Virgo trait, could also be in major focus, making this a specifically potent time to release the pressure to control every detail and trust the natural flow of life. So this lunation encourages you to prioritize self-care, set boundaries with work, and create a sustainable lifestyle that supports your well-being. And what makes this eclipse even more significant is that the ruler of this eclipse, which is Mercury, the ruler of Virgo, is in Aries and is conjunct Venus retrograde. So Mercury governs communication, thought processes, and organization, and its placement in Aries at this time makes your mental energy specifically direct, bold, and even impulsive. However, since Venus is in retrograde, this conjunction adds a deeper layer of reflection around values, relationships, and even financial matters, which is urging you to reevaluate your decisions, particularly in how you express your needs and self-worth. And because Mercury also governs Gemini, which governs your third house, this eclipse not only impacts your daily life and work habits, but it also triggers a deeper view of how you communicate, learn, and engage with those around you. So with Gemini ruling your third house of communication and learning and connections, this is a period of rethinking how you share your ideas, revisit old projects, or address unresolved misunderstandings. So you may find yourself questioning the way that you communicate in professional settings, or revisit an old writing or teaching project, or perhaps even having important conversation with siblings or relatives. This Mercury and Venus retrograde conjunction in Aries amplifies this eclipse, pushing you to align your thoughts, speech, and decisions with your values. And if you've been accepting circumstances that don't reflect your self-worth, whether in business dealings, friendships, or creative pursuits, this transit pushes you to reevaluate and make necessary adjustments. This eclipse is a direct call to balance mental and physical health, restructure your daily life, and redefine how you communicate your needs. The sixth house of Virgo governs the practical side of life, your job, routines, and physical life, while the third house, Gemini, rules your mental processing, learning, and how you express yourself. These two areas are deeply connected, meaning that adjustments in one will inevitably affect the other. A shift in work-life balance may require a more efficient communication style, and a change in routine may push you to rethink how you manage your information and step away from draining commitments that may allow you to focus on past creative and educational pursuits. So by the end of this transit, you'll have a clearer understanding what daily habits support your well-being and which mental patterns need refinement. This is a powerful moment of transformation, pushing you to release old ways of working and thinking while stepping into a healthier and more balanced lifestyle. So trust that any adjustments that you make now, both in your daily routines and your communication style, will set you on a path for greater personal growth, confidence, and of course, clarity. Wow, so Aries, this is a very profound and personal eclipse for you. So let me know in the below comments how it's going for you. And of course, if you like this video and you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, I would love for you to subscribe and like and perhaps even share on to someone that may appreciate it. Till next time. So for Taurus, this lunar eclipse in Virgo falls in your fifth house, which governs creativity, romance, pleasure, children, and self-expression. Lunar eclipses bring significant turning points, revelations, and endings. So something in this area of your life is shifting. You may realize that creative project need to evolve or conclude a romantic situation that reaches a moment of truth. So whether that means deepening a connection, letting go, or redefining a romance, you're going to be doing this under this eclipse. And if you've been holding back from fully expressing yourself, this eclipse could push you to embrace your authentic desires. The fifth house also connects joy, hobbies, and play. So maybe you suddenly realize where you've been suppressing happiness and prioritizing work over what truly excites you. And if children are relevant in your life, this eclipse could bring major shifts. Perhaps you've been thinking about having kids, experiencing changes related to a child, or reconsidering your role as a parent. And since Virgo is so analytical and detail orientated, this eclipse could also highlight where perfectionism has perhaps held you back from freely enjoying your life, encouraging you to release overthinking and embracing your spontaneity. And because this eclipse is also ruled by Mercury, which also rules Gemini, your second house of money, resources, self-worth, and stability is also affected. And with Mercury and Venus conjunct and Venus retrograde, this signals a deep reevaluation of your finances, earning potential, and sense of self-worth. Venus is your specific chart ruler, and being in retrograde makes this a particularly personal time for you. So you might be reconsidering financial decisions, reflecting on past income, or reconnecting with an old skill that perhaps could become profitable again. And since Gemini also rules Mercury, and Mercury is involved in this eclipse, conversations may be significant. Perhaps you're renegotiating a salary, readdressing your budget, or questioning what really makes you feel financially secure. This could also manifest as an awakening around your spending habits, particularly in connection to pleasure and joy. So, have you been investing in experiences that genuinely bring you happiness, or have you been overly restrictive? These are questions that you could ask yourself. So, for example, if fear of financial instability has been holding you back from pursuing a creative passion or personal project, this specific eclipse could push you to see that your talents are worth investing in, even if it requires you stepping out of your comfort zone. Or perhaps you've been in a casual romance that now requires clarity. This eclipse may prompt you to decide whether to commit or to move on. And if you felt creatively blocked, this energy could bring breakthroughs, helping you to overcome fear and embrace self-expression. So the overall message is about balancing responsibility and joy, recognizing where self-criticism has stifled your happiness and make adjustments so you can align to what you truly love and value, both financially, emotionally, and personally. And with the eclipse in Virgo's practical and detail-orientated energy, and Gemini activating your financial health, it's time to redefine your priorities and ensure that your time, energy, and resources fully support what brings you true fulfillment. So for Taurus, this is a particularly personal eclipse for you. The second house governs your self-worth and finances, which is very important. And of course, the fifth house is ultra important because it's what really truly brings you joy. So let me know in the below comments how this is playing out for you. And of course, if you enjoyed this, please would you consider liking, sharing, or perhaps even subscribing to the channel to help it grow. See you soon. Cheers. So for Gemini, the lunar eclipse in Virgo on March the 14th activates your fourth house, bringing profound shifts in home, family, and emotional foundations, and of course, your inner security. So lunar eclipses signify endings, culminations, and moments of deep truth, forcing you to confront aspects of your past, childhood, and conditioning, and of course, personal attachments that perhaps no longer serve you anymore. And because this eclipse is occurring on the south node, it carries a karmic theme of release, and it asks you to let go of outdated beliefs, family expectations, or even emotional burdens that have kept you feeling a little bit stuck. The fourth house rules your private world, your home, and your closest relationships, and of course, your deep emotional needs. So you may be experiencing a significant change in your living situation, shifts in your family dynamics, or a newfound awareness for what truly makes you feel safe and supported. So some Geminis may move home, experience a shift in family roles, uncover family secrets, or even break free from unhealthy emotional patterns maybe inherited from childhood. And if you've been holding on to the past, this eclipse will bring clarity on what needs to be released and let go. so you can create a stronger and more authentic emotional foundation. This is an amazing time to be renegotiating boundaries with family members, or making peace with childhood wounds, or even stepping away from family obligations that you personally don't align with your personal growth. And since Virgo's influence brings a need for structure and order, this eclipse may also highlight the need to reorganize your home life, or get a clearer emotional picture on your clutter, or redefine your sense of stability. So you may also find a deep urge to create a healthier balance between your personal life and career, ensuring that your home is a truly safe space of comfort and security rather than stress and obligation. And because Virgo is ruled by Mercury, we must also consider the fact that Mercury's placement is in Aries, where it is conjunct with Venus retrograde. And it further intensifies this eclipse influence. Mercury is also the ruler of Gemini, which means that this eclipse doesn't just impact your fourth house, it also highlights the role in your first house. And this is the house of self-identity and personal direction. So with Mercury and Venus retrograde in Aries, you're being called to reassess your values, relationships, and how you express your individuality. Venus retrograde always signals a time of reflection and revision, particularly regarding self-worth, love, and financial matters. And with Mercury involved, this also impacts your thought processes and communication, and of course, decision making. And because Mercury rules both Virgo and Gemini, this eclipse directly linked to how you perceive yourself and how your past has shaped your full identity. And if you've been defining yourself through family expectations, or old emotional wounds, or perhaps outdated self-perception, this eclipse is a breaking point for this. It pushes you to release limiting beliefs and step into a more empowered version of yourself. The connection between your fourth house of home and family and your first house of self and identity suggests that you're going through a transformation in how you relate to your past and how that shapes your future going forward. And now, under this specific eclipse, you are realizing the importance of making decisions that honor your personal truth. And with Venus retrograde conjunct Mercury in Aries, themes of relationships, self-expression, and independence are also in the focus. And since Aries is a bold and independent sign, you may feel called to assert yourself more confidently, step into a leadership role, or take action in areas where you perhaps previously have hesitated. And if you've been compromising too much in relationship, or perhaps holding back your true desires, this specific eclipse is urging you to step into your power and embrace yourself in an authentic way. This eclipse also impacts your approach to communication and to decision making, as both Mercury rules both Virgo and Gemini, meaning that your mental clarity, self-expression, and sense of direction are undergoing a recess. And because fourth house represents emotional security and the first house represents identity, this is the time when deep emotional healing leads to a stronger sense of self. So the decisions that you make now regarding home and family and even personal identity will have effects on long-lasting future directions in your life. So whether you're moving, setting up boundaries in your relationship, or even embracing a new version of yourself, this eclipse pushes you to prioritize what truly aligns with your growth rather than clinging to past or outdated ideas in your head. So for Geminis, this eclipse is a powerful reminder that true security comes from within you and not from external validation or past conditioning. You're being asked to reassess and release external approval and let go of limiting family narratives and embrace the changes that will set you on a path for greater fulfillment. And if you've been waiting for the right time to make a bold decision regarding your home, family, personal identity, this specific eclipse allows you to be the catalyst for change. So expect major realizations, emotional breakthroughs, and a clearer sense of what you need to feel truly loved, safe, and empowered moving forward in your life. Wow, so Gemini, that's a lot. It's a very, very powerful eclipse for you. And of course, Mercury being your ruler, this eclipse is specifically significant. So let me know in the comments below how it's going for you. And of course, if you enjoyed this, please consider liking, subscribing, or even sharing on to someone that may appreciate it. Till next time, cheers. For Cancer, the lunar eclipse in Virgo on the 14th of March lands in your third house of communication, learning, and daily interactions. It also represents siblings and short-distance travel, bringing a major shift to how you see things, speak, process information, and communicate. Lunar eclipses mark a significant turning point, endings, and revelations. And with this one occurring on the South Node in Virgo, it carries a strong karmic theme of release, outdated communication patterns, mental habits, and limiting beliefs that no longer serve you. The third house governs how you absorb information, your relationship with your siblings, even cousins and neighbors, and of course, how you express yourself in writing, speaking, and learning. So this eclipse will shine a light on unhealthy mental habits, thought patterns, and communication style that may be holding you back. So it's urging you to step into a more and authentic and, of course, empowered way of expressing yourself. And if you've been overanalyzing, stuck in perfection, or overly critical in your communications, this eclipse acts as an absolute reset button. And it's going to help you get rid of the need for absolute control in how you think and interact with others. So you may experience a shift in relationships with siblings or close relatives as unresolved conflicts surface or new understandings emerge. Some Cancers may feel compelled to leave behind an outdated way of thinking or step away from repetitive conversations that perhaps no longer inspire them, or distance themselves from certain social circles that no longer align with their inner growth. This is a powerful moment to you to release and engage with education, learning, and intellectual pursuits. So if you've been considering taking a course, switching an academic path, or perhaps even revisiting an old method of studying, this eclipse may push you to do just that. And it can also trigger a significant realization about how you process and communicate your emotions, particularly if you've been avoiding certain difficult conversations or suppressing your thoughts to perhaps keep the peace. And since Virgo also influences the need for structure and organization, this specific eclipse could help you and maybe inspire you to redefine how you manage your daily schedule, reorganize your workflow, or improve on your efficiency of your communication. And because Virgo is ruled also by Mercury, we must also examine Mercury's placement in Aries, where it is at the time of this eclipse, which is obviously conjunct Venus retrograde in Aries. And this adds a deeper level of evaluation in matters related to self-worth, relationships, and financial agreements. However, since Gemini is also ruled by Mercury, this eclipse not only affects your third house of communication, but it also affects your 12th house of subconscious patterns, hidden fears, and spiritual growth. And this suggests that it's a time of mental and emotional detoxification. The 12th house represents the unseen and the parts of ourselves that operate perhaps in the background. So this includes our dreams, our intuition, our subconscious fears, and with Mercury conjunct Venus at the time of this eclipse is also asking you to release past wounds, hidden insecurities, and emotional baggage that may be influencing your mindset and perhaps even your communication style. So you may realize that certain fears or perhaps subconscious conditioning have been shaping the way that you speak, think, or even limit your personal own limitations and potentials. And if you've been feeling a little bit restless, overwhelmed, or perhaps your inner dialogue is prone to overthinking, this eclipse is pushing you to release those outdated narratives and adopt a more empowering way of processing your own internal information. This Mercury-Venus retrograde conjunction in Aries may also bring back past romantic or financial matters, especially ones that were left perhaps unresolved. And this is pushing you to reconsider whether those situations align with your personal values. And since Aries energy is about bold, assertive, and sometimes impulsive manners of speech, this may be a strong urge to confront your past head on. But because Venus is in retrograde motion, this is a time for reflection and refinement rather than impulsive decisions. So the connection between your third house of communication and your 12th house of the subconscious is absolutely profound at this time, as it highlights how your inner world influences the way that you express yourself externally. This is a period where you are learning to filter through your mental clutter, separate fears from reality, and communicate from a place of clarity and confidence rather than self-doubt or perhaps anxiety. So you may also find that this is a time of heightened intuition, vivid dreams, or even deep spiritual insights as the 12th house connects, brings subconscious revelation to the surface of the mind. Perhaps a long-held secret is revealed, a period of isolation comes to an end, or even you gaining an insight into a situation that was previously unclear. So ultimately, this lunar eclipse in Virgo is clearing out the mental clutter, communication blocks, and outdated beliefs, while Mercury-Venus retrograde in Aries is urging you to redefine your values, heal your past wounds, and reconnect of what truly matters to you. So you're being pushed to embrace a healthier way of thinking, speaking, and actually interacting with the world, while simultaneously breaking free from subconscious fears that have been dictating your thought processes. So whether this means ending toxic conversations, confronting hidden truths, or even stepping into a new way of learning and engaging with others, this specific eclipse is a moment of profound and personal transformation. So expect major realizations, deep emotional processing, and an overall shift in how you engage with both your external environment and your internal world. And by the time the dust is settled, you would have a clearer and more empowered voice and a renewed understanding of what truly aligns with your specific soul journey. For Cancer, this is a profound eclipse for you, both obviously on your conscious level with your thoughts and your interactions with others, but mainly on a very deep level, a soul level, which makes all the difference. So let me know in the below comments how it's going for you. And of course, if you like this video, please feel free to share, to like, or even subscribe to the channel to help it grow. See you next time. So for Leo, the lunar eclipse in Virgo on March the 14th lands in your second house of finances, self-worth, possessions, and material stability, bringing a major shift in how you manage your money, define your personal value, and establish long-term security. So lunar eclipses bring culminations, endings, and significant realizations. And with this specific eclipse occurring on the South Node in Virgo, you're being called to release outdated financial habits, limiting beliefs around money, and even unhealthy attachments to material security. The second house represents your income, spending habits, and financial interdependence, and of course, self-esteem. So eclipses force you to confront any financial instability, overspending, or perhaps reliant on external validation to perhaps feel secure. And if you've been stuck in a pattern of seeking security through material success rather than inner confidence, this specific eclipse will push you to rethink your values and even break free from fear of financial loss. So some Leos may experience a career shift that impacts their income, major financial decisions such as selling a property or even restructuring debt, or a realization that their self-worth is not defined by their bank account. The South Node influence suggests that something in your financial approach is no longer serving you well. So whether it's an old job that isn't paying you enough, or a toxic work environment, or even a reliance on an external validation of wealth and possession. Since Virgo energy is ultra meticulous and analytical, this eclipse encourages you to take practical approaches to your finances, perhaps cutting out unnecessary expenses, reassessing your budget, or letting go of financial anxieties that prevent you from embracing abundance. However, the deeper lesson here is it's not just about money. It's about how you value yourself and whether your financial choices reflect your true self-worth. So if you've been undercharging for your work, staying in a job that doesn't appreciate you, or allowing money worries to dictate your self-esteem, this specific eclipse will bring a massive turning point. And because Virgo is ruled by Mercury, you must also look at Mercury's placement at the time of the eclipse, and it's in Aries, where it's conjunct Venus retrograde. And this adds an extra layer of financial and self-reassessment. However, since Gemini is also ruled by Mercury, this eclipse is not only impacting your second house of money, but it's also impacting your 11th house, which rules friendships, networking, and long-term goals. And it suggests that social connections, aspirations, and financial planning are all intertwined and connected. The 11th house represents your larger vision for the future, the communities that you engage with, and the people that support your long-term ambitions. So with Mercury conjunct Venus retrograde in Aries at the time of this eclipse, you may be also reevaluating friendships, questioning business collaborations, or even reconsidering whether long-term goals still align with your own personal values. And because Venus is retrograde, past financial situations, friendships, or even professional collaborations may even resurface. And this is urging you to reflect on previous decisions and whether they still hold value in your life. So perhaps you had a business opportunity that you once dismissed, and now it reappears for a second chance. And Mercury's influence in Aries makes communication bold, direct, and at times even a little bit impulsive. So you may feel a strong desire to speak your truth, set financial boundaries, or even advocate for your own personal self-worth in your professional or social circles. However, with Venus retrograde involved, it's a time for reassessment rather than hasty decision, allowing yourself to reflect on financial, social, and career matters before making definite action. The connection between your second house of financial security and your 11th house of aspirations and social networks suggests that the way that you handle money is evolving alongside your long-term goals, and it's pushing you to align with your material world with a bigger purpose. This could manifest in ending a financial commitment that no longer serves you, shifting a career path to better align with your ambitions, or perhaps recognizing that true wealth is about more than just money. It's about people that surround yourself with and the legacy that you build around yourself. So with the lunar eclipse in Virgo and Mercury and Venus both retrograde in Aries, you're going through a period of financial restructuring, self-worth realignment, and reevaluating the friendships, collaborations, and goals that shape your future. So whether it's changing careers, shifting financial priorities, or redefining your vision for success, this specific eclipse is pushing you to align your resources with your true values and step into a future that reflects your personal highest potential. So for Leo, this is a very, very powerful and potent eclipse, specifically because it's landing in your second house, which is, of course, all about your values and your self-worth, and of course, your 11th house, which is about your social friendships, but most importantly, your personal future aspirations. So let me know in the below comments how it's going for you. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, I would love for you to like and subscribe and perhaps share on with someone that may appreciate it. Till next time. So for Virgo, the lunar eclipse on the 14th of March falls in your first house of self-identity and personal direction, marking it a profound turning point in how you see yourself and present yourself to the world at large. Lunar eclipses bring endings, revelations, and significant transformations, and this specific one is occurring on the South Node in Virgo, and it signifies a karmic release of outdated perceptions, behaviors, and roles that no longer serve your highest potential. The first house governs your physical appearance, personality, and the way that you assert yourself in life. And this eclipse will force you to confront any lingering doubts, insecurities, or tendencies to overanalyze and self-criticize yourself. So if you have been clinging to an outdated version of yourself or struggling with perfectionism, this eclipse pushes you to let go of self-imposed limitations and embrace a more authentic and confident version of yourself. So some Virgos may change their appearance, reassess their personal goals, or even step away from a relationship or career path, or even situations that no longer align with your evolving sense of self, making this a powerful time to release unhealthy habits, restructure your routines, or undergo personal transformations that reflect your inner growth. And since Virgo is absolutely meticulous and detail-orientated, you may have been fixated on a minor flaw or even trapped in cycles of over-perfectionism. But this eclipse serves as a huge wake-up call to recognize your self-worth beyond constant self-improvement. So if you've been prioritizing work, service, or external responsibilities at the expense of personal fulfillment, this eclipse encourages you to set boundaries and focus on what truly nourishes yourself. And since Virgo is ruled by Mercury, this eclipse is deeply influenced by Mercury's placement in Aries, where it is conjunct Venus retrograde. And this further intensifies themes of self-worth, relationships, and personal values. However, because Gemini is also ruled by Mercury, this eclipse not only affects your first house of self, but also your 10th house of career, reputation, and life direction, which is governed by Gemini in your chart. So the 10th house represents your professional aspirations, status, and public image you project, meaning that this eclipse forces you to reevaluate your identity and how you show up in the world. It's also pushing you to rethink your career path, your ambitions, and even your long-term goals. The Mercury and Venus retrograde conjunction in Aries suggests that past career choices, professional relationships, or even financial decisions related to work may resurface for reconsideration. Because Venus is retrograde, this period requires deep introspective thoughts regarding your professional self-worth, financial stability, and whether you're being properly valued in your career. So some Virgos may find themselves renegotiating contracts, revisiting past opportunities, or even questioning their relationship with authority figures or professional partnerships. The 10th house also rules legacy and long-term impact. So this eclipse may prompt you to reassess the mark that you want to leave on the world and whether your current plan that you have now aligns with your future vision. So if you've been working tirelessly towards your external success, but neglecting personal happiness, this eclipse will demand a realignment of your personal priorities. The connection between your first house of self and the 10th house of career suggests that personal and professional transformations are happening simultaneously, which is requiring you to step into a new version that aligns with your career path that you truly desire. So you may feel called to shed outdated expectations, stop seeking validation through achievement, and define success on your own terms. This is particularly relevant with Mercury conjunct Venus in Aries, as Mercury energy is all about interdependence, courage, and self-assertion, meaning that you feel a strong desire to break free from personal limitations and demand better compensation or to take control of your own career. However, since Venus is retrograde, this is the time for reassessments rather than impulse action. So while you may feel the urge to make a dramatic career change, it's best to use this period to reflect, plan, and redefine your next steps before making permanent decisions. And some Virgos may experience a shift in public recognition, changes in workplaces dynamics, or even unexpected opportunities that align more closely around your self-identity. So ultimately, this lunar eclipse in Virgo is a moment of profound self-discovery and transformation, where you're being called to release old dated versions of yourself, redefine your ambitions, and step into a more confident and aligned and professional. And this encourages you to embrace authenticity, trust your instincts, and recognize that you are enough just as you are. So if you've been seeking external validation through achievements, relationships, or societal expectations, this eclipse serves as a reminder that true fulfillment comes from living in alignment with your own personal core values. So expect major realizations about your self-worth, career direction, and personal potential, as well as an opportunity to shed limiting beliefs and embrace a future that truly is your soul essence. And by the time the dust has settled, you would have a clearer sense of identity, renewed vision for your career, and the confidence to pursue your goals without the weight of the past holding you back. This is an incredible time to embrace change, trust your inner wisdom, and step forward with clarity, purpose, and an unwavering sense of your true self. So for Virgos, this is extremely profound, an eclipse that's affecting not only your first house, which is all about you, but your 10th house. So it's an angular eclipse for you. So it's extra potent. So let me know below how it's going for you. And if you like these type of videos, please consider liking, subscribing, or even sharing on with someone that may appreciate it. Till next time. So for Libra, the lunar eclipse in Virgo on the 14th of March falls in your 12th house of endings, the subconscious, spiritual growth, isolation, and hidden matters, marking it a profound turning point in your own personal inner world. So lunar eclipses bring major revelations, culminations, and even karmic releases. And this one is occurring on the South Node in Virgo. And it signals the need to let go of old fears, self-sabotaging patterns, and emotional burdens that have been lurking beneath the surface. The 12th house governs what is hidden. It's the most unconscious part of the chart. It rules the unconscious mind, past traumas, spiritual awakenings, and even a need for solitude and introspection. So this eclipse may bring deep emotional clarity and urge you to release attachment to outdated belief systems, unresolved wounds, and limiting subconscious decisions. This can be a time of intensified dreams, deep introspection, or even a heightened sense of spiritual awareness as you're being guided to confront what has been truly buried beneath the surface and open up a new phase of healing and renewal. So some Libras may find themselves craving solitude and stepping away from external distractions, or feeling drawn towards spiritual or therapeutic work to help them navigate this emotional transition. Others may experience closures in hidden relationships, endings in toxic cycles, or a need to even retreat from the public to focus on yourself. And since Virgo's energy highlights analytical and detailed orientated thinking, this eclipse encourages you to examine your thoughts, fears, and unconscious patterns with precision, and question whether the narratives you tell yourself are truly serving your highest purpose. And if you have been overworking, overthinking, or feeling mentally exhausted, this specific eclipse may also signal the time to slow down and prioritize rest and tend to your own personal well-being. And since Virgo is ruled by Mercury, we must consider Mercury's placement in Aries, and it is conjunct Venus retrograde, adding another layer of reflection on relationships, self-worth, and financial matters. However, because Gemini is also ruled by Mercury, this eclipse does not only impact your 12th house of your subconscious, but also your 9th house of expansion, higher learning, travel, and belief system, which is governed by Gemini in your chart. The 9th house represents your worldview, personal philosophy, and connection to brand new experiences. And with Mercury and Venus retrograde in Aries, you're being asked to reevaluate your beliefs, educational pursuits, and long-term aspiration. And if you've been clinging onto rigid perspectives, or staying in your comfort zone, or even avoiding personal growth due to fear of perhaps the unknown, this specific eclipse will challenge you to expand your thinking and embrace change. And you may find yourself rethinking academic pursuits, visiting past educational goals, or reconsidering a spiritual or philosophical belief that once shaped your identity. And with Venus retrograde involved, relationships with people from different cultural backgrounds will resurface. So long-distance connections, or past love interests, or anything related to academia may resurface, offering you an opportunity for closure or perhaps even re-evaluation. The Mercury-Venus conjunction in Aries also further emphasizes communication, personal expression, meaning you may feel a strong desire to speak your truth, but also need to reassess how you articulate your ideas and beliefs. Aries energy can be extra bold and sometimes even impulsive. So while there be a strong need to take immediate action on new insights, Venus retrograde encourages you to reflect and refine your thoughts before making long-term commitments. And the connection between your 12th house of endings and subconscious healing and your 9th house of beliefs and expansion suggests that it's a great time for deep emotional and transformation of how you view yourself and how you place yourself in the world, and of course how your spiritual or philosophical path unfolds. And if you've been holding on to limiting mental patterns, conditioning fears, or outdated ways of thinking, this specific eclipse serves as a huge wake-up call to release what no longer aligns with your personal evolving consciousness. So you may even experience profound realization that your current belief system or direction is no longer fulfilling. And this prompts you to reevaluate it and make changes for the future. And some Librans may also feel a need to step away from the external noise around them and go on a retreat or spend some time alone in solitude to gain extra clarity on the next steps forward. The 12th house also governs hidden enemies and subconscious fears, meaning it could be a time where you gain awareness of people, situations, or habits that have been working against you behind the scenes. So whether it's breaking free from a toxic relationship, recognizing where you've been holding yourself back, or even finally releasing past regrets, this specific eclipse is a moment of deep karmic clearing. So ultimately, Libra, this lunar eclipse in Virgo is bringing an emotional, mental, and spiritual reset to where you've been asked to purge past, shed limiting beliefs, and step into a more expanded, liberated version of yourself. With Mercury and Venus retrograde in Aries influencing your ninth house, the process is not about just internal transformation, but it's also about a newfound clarity that will shape your path in relationships and personal philosophy going forward. So expect massive shifts in your inner world, deep realizations about what truly matters, and a powerful release of subconscious fears that have held you back from living your life in true alignment. This is an incredible time to trust the process and lean into introspection and prepare for a new chapter where your mind, body, and soul are more aligned. Wow, so Libra, that is a very, very powerful eclipse for you because it is so spiritual and subconscious. So let me know in the below how it's been going for you. And of course, if you like this video, please feel free to share and like and even subscribe to the channel to help it grow. See you next time. For Scorpio, the lunar eclipse in Virgo on the 14th of March falls in your 11th house of friendship, social networks, long-term aspirations, and community involvement. And this brings a significant revelation and shifts in how you connect with others and dreams you're working towards. So lunar eclipses signify endings, culminations, and deep emotional clarity. And with one occurring on the south node of Virgo, you're being called to release outdated friendships, step away from social circles that no longer align with your values, and perhaps rethink your role within community or an organization. The 11th house governs collaborations, group dynamics, and your greater vision for the future. Meaning, this specific eclipse can bring you a realization that certain friendships, alliances, or even social obligations are no longer serving your personal growth. So some Scorpios may experience the natural end of a friendship, or departure from a professional group, or shift in a certain way that they engage with causes and networking. And if you've been feeling disconnected from your long-term goals or struggling to find a sense of belonging, this specific eclipse will highlight where you need to align your ambitions with the right people and right communities. And since Virgo energy is analytical and perfectionistic, you may have been holding on to the impossibility of standards in your social life or rethinking how others perceive you. And now is the time to let go of that specific pressure. And you may also feel the need to reevaluate a collaborative project or professional relationship that has reached its natural conclusion. And because Virgo is ruled by Mercury, this eclipse is closely linked to the Mercury placement in Aries, where it's conjunct Venus retrograde. And this adds another layer to self-reflection regarding relationships, value, and even financial matters. And since Gemini is also ruled by Mercury, this eclipse does not only impact your 11th house of friendships and aspiration, but it also impacts your 8th house of shared resources, intimacy, and psychological transformation, which is ruled by Gemini in your chart. So the 8th house governs financial agreements, emotional bonds, inheritances, debts, and even deep transformation, meaning that this specific eclipse for you is bringing a deep realization about how you share your energy, money, emotional resources, and your emotional depth with others. This Mercury-Venus retrograde conjunction in Aries suggests that old financial entanglements, past business agreements, and even deep emotional wounds related to trust or power dynamics could resurface during this eclipse and be up for total revaluation. So if you've been financially dependent on someone or entangled in some kind of an investment that no longer feels secure, this eclipse is going to push you to reassess your financial commitment and seek greater interdependence. So some Scorpios may experience conversations about money owed, shared assets in a business partnership, or even an unresolved issues related to intimacy and trust. The 8th house is also related to personal transformation, and Venus in retrograde in Aries may make you question your own self-worth in relation to how much you give your relationships financially, emotionally, or even spiritually. And if you've been engaging in a one-sided relationship where perhaps you give more than you receive, this specific eclipse will put an end to it and make changes where it's needed. And the connection between your 11th house of social networks and your 8th house of emotional and financial entanglements suggests that this is a period of releasing outdated friendships, social obligations, and business dealings that no longer align with your personal values and emotional security. So you may feel the need to perhaps distance yourself from social circles where power struggles or financial dependencies have played a role. Or perhaps you may realize that your long-term goals require a completely new set of connections other than the ones that you have now. And some Scorpios may also find themselves revisiting past financial decisions or negotiating business contracts or even reevaluating the depth of emotional connections. The Mercury and Venus retrograde conjunction in Aries urges you to have a look inwards and reassess what you truly value, both in friendships and financial partnerships. So before making any bold decisions, since Venus is retrograde, it's a time of reflection rather than forward action. So this is a period of deep introspection about your relationship with money, intimacy, and personal empowerment. So whether you're releasing financial ties, ending friendships that no longer serve you, or redefining what success means to you, this specific eclipse is pushing you to align your external world with your internal truth. So expect major realizations and epiphanies about your immediate circle and about your long-term goals and financial and emotional commitment that you're willing to maintain or even not maintain anymore. And by the time the dust settled, you would have a clear understanding of which relationships, partnerships, and social networks truly support your inner growth and that you want to stick with in the long term. And you're also going to have a clearer mind about your shared finances and how much you give of yourself in an emotional entanglement. So Scorpios, this is a deeply, deeply personal eclipse for you. So let me know below how it's all panning out for you. And of course, if you enjoy these type of videos, please will you consider liking or sharing or even subscribing to the channel to help it grow. Till next time. So for Sagittarius, the lunar eclipse in Virgo on the 14th of March lands in your 10th house of career, reputation, public image, and long-term ambitions, bringing an incredibly big shift to how you approach your professional life and the path you're carving out for yourself. So lunar eclipses mark endings, revelations, and significant transformations. And this one is occurring on the South Node in Virgo. And you are being asked to release outdated career aspirations, professional roles, or public expectations that definitely do not serve you anymore. The 10th house represents achievements, leadership abilities, and the way you are perceived by the world, meaning that this specific eclipse could bring career milestones, a conclusion of a job, or a change in status, or even a shift in direction regarding your long-term and professional goal. And if you've been clinging to a role that's out of obligation or fear, this eclipse will force you to reassess whether your career truly aligns with your identity. And some Sagittarians may experience a job change, a transformation into a new leadership role, or a sudden realization that their current professional path is not fulfilling them anymore. And since Virgo is so detail-orientated and perfectionistic, this eclipse also highlights where you may have been overly focused on external validation in the workplace or controlling the outcomes in your career rather than trusting your natural ability to lead and innovate. You may find yourself questioning whether the work that you do truly reflects your inner purpose and whether you're receiving the recognition that you deserve, or whether it's time to release a professional identity that's defined you for far too long. Virgo is ruled by Mercury. This eclipse is closely connected to the Mercury placement in Aries, where it's conjunct with Venus retrograde. And this adds another layer of reflection regarding creativity, self-expression, and personal fulfillment. And since Gemini is also ruled by Mercury, this eclipse does not only affect your 10th house of career or public life, but it also affects your 7th house of relationships, partnerships, and contracts, which is ruled by Gemini in your specific chart. The 7th house governs one-on-one connections, romantic partnerships, business agreements, and collaborations, meaning that this specific eclipse forces a reassessment of your career, and it's also pushing you to rethink how relationships and professional partnerships align with your true ambitions. And with Mercury conjunct Venus retrograde in Aries, themes of past romantic or business partnership, creative collaboration, and financial negotiations may resurface for re-evaluation. Some Sagittarius may experience the return of an old business partnership, a second chance as a past career, or a renegotiation of a contract that impacts both their work and their personal life. And since Venus is retrograde, it's time of reflection rather than immediate action. So this is a period that you must carefully reassess your professional goals and partnerships that you truly align with. And you may realize that certain collaborations no longer support your long-term visions that you have for yourself within your career. And the connection between your 10th house of career and your 7th house of partnership suggests that this is a great time to evaluate who you're working with, whether your relationships contribute towards your success, and how you balance your personal and professional responsibilities. So you may feel called to release toxic professional ties, or step away from partnerships that drain your energy, or set clear career boundaries between your work and professional lives. And some Sagittariuses may also reassess their marriage or long-term commitments, especially if career ambitions and personal relationships have been in conflict. So ultimately, this lunar eclipse in Virgo is illuminating the balance between career and relationships for you, and urging you to let go of limiting structures, embrace a new path forward, and ensure that your professional aspirations are in harmony with your deeper personal needs. So for Sagittarius, this is a deeply personal eclipse for you because it's angular. Your 10th house and your 7th house are angular in your chart, which makes it extremely personal. So let me know in the below comments how it's going for you. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, I would love for you to subscribe and perhaps share on to someone that may appreciate it. Till next time. Capricorns, the lunar eclipse in Virgo on March the 14th falls in your 9th house of higher learning, travel, belief systems, and expansion, bringing a major shift to how you see the world and your place in it. So lunar eclipses mark endings, revelations, and turning points. And with this specific one in the South Node in Virgo, it's a time to let go of outdated perspectives, limiting beliefs, or old academic or legal pursuits that no longer align with your personal growth. The 9th house is all about seeking wisdom, broadening your horizons, and whether that's through education, travel, or life experiences, this specific eclipse is going to push you to rethink your long-term aspirations. So if you've been clinging onto a rigid worldview, playing it safe, or holding onto perhaps the past, or not taking risks. This eclipse is here to shake some things up. Some Capricorns might complete a decree, wrap up an international move, or perhaps realize that a certain career path is not giving them the fulfillment that it should. You may be also questioning a deeply long-held personal philosophy. So what you used to believe in may not fit in who you're becoming, and that's okay. And since Virgo's energy is super analytical and perfectionistic, you may also be overthinking your future, feeling like you need a perfect plan to make things move forward, or perhaps even hesitating to trust the process. But this eclipse encourages you to step back, zoom out, and recognize that sometimes growth happens when you take a big leap of faith forward. And because Virgo is ruled by Mercury, this specific eclipse also is influenced by Mercury placement in Aries, where it's conjunct with Venus retrograde, which also adds a layer of reflection, particularly around work, daily routines, and career dynamics. And since Gemini is also ruled by Mercury, this specific eclipse doesn't just impact your ninth, it also impacts your sixth house of work and health and daily responsibility, which is governed by Gemini in your specific chart. So the sixth house rules over structures in your daily life, your jobs, wellness routines, and how you manage those responsibilities. So as you experience a shift in your bigger picture goals, you may also feel the need to reassess your day-to-day life and whether your routines truly support your aspirations. And with Mercury conjunct Venus retrograde in Aries, this is a time of deep reevaluation of your job responsibilities, workplace relationships, and financial decisions tied to your work. So some Capricorns might reconsider a job opportunity, revisit an old project, or perhaps feel an urge to make changes in their health and lifestyle. And since Venus is retrograde, this is more about reflection than immediate action. So it's a great time to reassess what truly brings you fulfillment in your work and daily routines before making those solid commitments. And if your routine feels a little bit stagnant or uninspiring, this eclipse will push you to break out of the monotony and make space for something that feels curious and perhaps even passionate. So the connection between your ninth house of expansion and your sixth house of daily routine suggests a shift in priorities where you might need to adjust your routine and responsibilities to make room for a more fulfilling and purpose-driven life. And if you've been bogged down by obligations and feel like you don't have time to explore, even learn or travel, this specific eclipse serves as a huge wake-up call to balance the structure with some freedom. So some Capricorns may feel drawn to studying something new, exploring a different career path, or even shifting their work-life balance for more personal growth. And others may find themselves challenged to let go of limiting beliefs about what perhaps they should be doing, instead of choosing a path that feels more aligned with their true selves. So ultimately, this lunar eclipse in Virgo is asking you to trust the unknown and release control and perhaps embrace a new way of thinking about success. The more open you are to change, the more opportunities will ultimately come your way. So for Capricorns, this is a very, very personal lunar eclipse for you. Your sixth house is how you go about things on a daily basis, and of course, your health. And your ninth house is about your philosophies and how you go about life in a more philosophic point of view. So this is major, major endings and beginnings in these areas. So let me know below how you're feeling about this eclipse. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, I would love for you to like, subscribe, and perhaps share on to someone that may appreciate it. Cheers for now. So for Aquarius, the lunar eclipse in Virgo on the 14th of March falls in your 8th house of transformation, shared resources, emotional depth, power dynamics, and it brings intense revelations and shifts to your financial and emotional world. Lunar eclipses mark major turning points, endings, and deep realizations. And with this specific one, With the South Node in Virgo, it signals a need to release old fears, attachments, or financial interdependence. Lunar eclipses mark major turning points, endings, and deep realizations. And with this one landing on the South Node of Virgo, it signals a need to release old fears and attachments, or even financial dependencies that no longer serve you. The 8th house rules joint finances, debts, inheritances, and investments. So this eclipse could bring a financial agreement to a close, a shift in a business partnership, or a decision to break free from a financial entanglement that has maybe felt a little bit restrictive. And if you've been relying on someone else's resources, whether through shared business or a loan or even emotional dependency, this eclipse pushes you to reclaim your own independence. It's also about emotional transformation, as the 8th house governs deep psychological healing, intimacy, and hidden fears. So you may experience powerful emotional breakthroughs, uncover deep truths about a friendship or relationship, or finally let go of those wounds that have been weighing you down. Since Virgo's influence is all about analyzing things and structure, you may have been overthinking financial security, trust issues, or control dynamics in a relationship. And this eclipse is forcing you to step back and see the bigger picture. So some Aquariuses may find themselves paying off a debt, finalizing a financial arrangement, or realizing that a partnership, financial or romantic, is no longer aligned with their future. And others may be called to explore deeper and emotional healing, perhaps through therapy, shadow work, or even to dive into topics like psychology or esoteric studies. And because Virgo is ruled by Mercury, this specific eclipse is also influenced by Mercury's placement in Aries, where it's tightly conjunct Venus retrograde, which adds another layer of reflection, particularly around communication, relationships, and financial matters. And since Gemini is also ruled by Mercury, this eclipse doesn't just impact your 8th house of transformation, but it also impacts your 5th house of creativity, romance, passion, and self-expression, which is governed by Gemini in your chart. So the 5th house represents joy, dating, hobbies, artistic pursuits, and children. So this specific eclipse forces a deep and emotional and financial transformation in these houses. So you may also be asked to reevaluate how you express yourself and what brings you joy, and whether your past creative or emotional pursuits are still in alignment with your values. And with Mercury conjunct Venus retrograde in Aries, so tightly conjunct, this is a time to reassess old relationships and creative projects that may have been left unfinished. And some Aquariuses may experience a reconnection with an old lover, the resurfacing of a passion project, or a realization that perhaps they've been neglecting their own happiness in favor of more serious obligations. And since Venus is retrograde, this is not the time for impulsive decisions in love or finances, but rather a period of reflection and asking yourself what truly fulfills you and whether your romantic or creative choices align with your future. And the connection between your 8th house of transformation and your 5th house of passion suggests that you are redefining intimacy and what joy means to you. So shifting away from fear-based attachments and towards relationships and creative pursuits that feel more empowering and aligned with your heart. So you may be letting go of emotional baggage that has been blocking self-expression, stepping into a new way of experiencing intimacy, or even finally breaking free from patterns of control and perfectionism in love and creativity. And if you've been feeling weighed down by responsibilities, this specific eclipse might push you to release old fears and embrace a more playful love and artistic inspiration. So ultimately, this specific lunar eclipse in Virgo is a turning point that asks you to let go of financial burdens, trust in your own interdependence, and reconnect with the things that make you feel truly alive. So whether it's closing a financial chapter, healing a deep-seated fear, or rediscovering a lost passion, this specific eclipse is here to help you step into a more greater emotional and financial freedom for yourself, so you can move forward with more confidence and clarity for yourself. So wow, for Aquarius, I'm also an Aquarius rising. This is a very, very personal eclipse. The 8th house is all about hidden things, hidden finance, hidden intimacy issues. And the 5th house, of course, is your house of fun. So yeah, very, very personal eclipse for you. So let me know below how it's going for you. And of course, if you like this video, I'd love to see you here again. So please feel free to like and subscribe and perhaps share on with someone that may appreciate it. Cheers for now. Pisces, the lunar eclipse in Virgo on the 14th of March falls in your 7th house of relationship, partnerships, and one-on-one connections, bringing major shifts in how you engage with others, both on a personal and a professional basis. Lunar eclipses are a moment of clarity, endings, and transformation. And this specific one is occurring on the South Node in Virgo, and it signals the need to release outdated relationships patterns, letting go of partnerships that no longer serve you, and redefine what balance looks like in your connections. The 7th house rules committed relationships, marriages, business agreements, legal matters, and the specific meaning of this eclipse could mark the end of a relationship, the transformation of business partnerships, or a realization about the way that you relate to others. So if you've been feeling stuck in an unhealthy relationship dynamic, overgiving, or trying to control every tiny, teensy little detail in your partnerships, this eclipse pushes you to surrender and trust that certain endings are necessary for your own personal growth. So some Pisceans may experience the closure of a significant relationship, a shift in a professional agreement, or even a turning point in how they navigate intimacy and trust. And since Virgo's energy is highly analytical and structured, this eclipse may reveal where you've been overthinking your relationships or trying too hard to fix things that are beyond your control. And if you've been clinging on to perfectionistic tendencies in love, perhaps expecting people to meet unrealistic standards or sacrificing your own needs for the sake of harmony, this specific eclipse forces you to acknowledge these patterns and to make these necessary adjustments in your life. Since Virgo is ruled by Mercury, this eclipse is deeply connected to Mercury's placement in Aries, where it's tightly conjunct to Venus retrograde, which brings yet another layer of reflection, particularly around self-worth, money, and independence. However, since Gemini is also ruled by Mercury, this eclipse doesn't just impact your 7th house of relationships, but also your 4th house of home, family, and emotional foundations, which is governed by Gemini in your specific chart. The 4th house represents your innermost private world, past experiences, and the sense of security in your life. So as this eclipse forces a shift in your partnership, it also triggers a deeper review of your relationships with home, family, and emotional foundations that shape your ability to connect with others. And with Mercury so tightly conjunct with Venus in Aries, you're being called to reassess your values in relationships and your financial interdependence, and whether your current home life supports these partnerships you desire. So some Pisceans may find themselves revisiting old family wounds, reconsidering living arrangements, or reflecting on how their upbringing has shaped their views on love and even commitment. And if you've been feeling emotionally disconnected or struggling with issues around belonging, this specific eclipse may highlight where you heal, and you need to take time before you can fully open yourself up before going deeper into aligned relationships. And since Venus is retrograde, this is not the time for rash decisions regarding love and finances, but rather a period of deep introspection, which allows you to understand whether your emotional and relationship needs are being fully met. And the connection between your 7th house of relationships and your 4th house of home and family suggests that your personal life and your partnerships are evolving together. And you may realize that the dynamics in your closest connections stem from a deeper emotional root that needs to be acknowledged and addressed. So if you've been avoiding unnecessary confrontations, ignoring the emotional patterns that repeat in your relationships, or even hold on to partnerships for the sake of security rather than genuine love, this eclipse is here to bring clarity into your life. So you might feel the need to let go of attachment, set stronger boundaries, or reassess what commitment truly means to you. And some Pisceans may also experience a major shift in living situations, whether that's through a move, a change in household dynamics, or even a deep realization to what home truly means to them. So ultimately, this specific lunar eclipse in Virgo is a powerful moment of transition, asking you to balance your emotional needs with the realities of your relationships. Let go of toxic cycles and redefine what stability and partnership look like moving forward for yourself. So whether you're ending a relationship, redefining family ties, or perhaps realizing your emotional needs before pursuing new commitments, this eclipse is pushing you to create relationships that truly support your growth and emotional well-being. So for Pisces, my goodness, what a very, very personal eclipse this is, because it appears on the emotional and the relational axis of your life. So let me know below how it's going for you. And of course, if you like these type of videos, I would love to see you here again. So please consider liking, sharing, or perhaps even subscribing to the channel to help it grow. Till next time.